Hello, this is Celeste of Astrology by Celeste with a special bonus episode just in time for Thanksgiving. I know this week can stir up a lot. Travel stress, family dynamics, emotional undercurrents, and with Mercury retrograde in Scorpio, a Grand Water Trine, and Saturn stationing direct, the energetic weather is especially tender and deeply felt. I wanted to offer you a supportive resource to help you ground your body, settle your nervous system, and bring intention into your holiday experience. In this episode, I'm joined by gifted sound healer Melissa Felsenstein of Inner Sounds Meditation. We have an illuminating conversation about navigating the emotional tides of this moment. And then Melissa guides you through a powerful therapeutic sound bath using crystal bowls and planetary gongs. You can listen to the sound bath before your holiday gathering, after it, or anytime you need a reset. Consider it a little oasis of peace and clarity for your mind, heart, and spirit. Welcome to Celestial Insights, a weekly podcast that brings the stars down to earth. I'm your host, astrologer, coach, and intuitive Celeste Brooks. My purpose is to provide practical, unique, and insightful guidance to help you navigate the energies of the week like a boss. Hello, this is Celeste of Astrology by Celeste, and I'm so excited to have a special cosmic conversation with Melissa Felsenstein of Inner Sounds Meditation. And I've worked with Melissa personally. She was so helpful to me with using the technique of sound healing. Yeah, I cannot recommend it enough. So, Melissa, introduce yourself to everyone.
Well, hi, everyone. It's so good to see you, Celeste. Yes, we worked together for many years ago. Yeah, so I've been doing sound for over 15 years and definitely like for the last decade. So it's it's dear to my heart. I love sharing it with others. I'm excited to share a sound bath with everyone today. And I use the stars. Actually, I set up my sound baths according to the astrology that's happening because I really enjoy that merging. And so we'll have some crystal bowls. We'll have lots of gongs, planetary gongs, which are tuned to the frequency of the planets. So like I've got Jupiter and Saturn, Venus, Neptune, and lots of other fun gongs behind me. And so sound healing, it's such a wonderful tool because it's so passive, it's easy, it's about just receiving, and it really helps your nervous system come into states of deep rest and deep calm. And, I would love for you to share, if you're willing, Celeste, a little bit about your experience with sound healing when we were working together.
Yeah, so I first met Melissa at a sound bath where she was providing the service, and it's so funny. Afterwards, you made a beeline to me, and you could tell that I was connecting on a different level. Like there was something where you knew. Do you remember? Do you remember why?
Yeah, I remember actually. So sometimes when I'm playing, I'm getting into this really meditative zone and I get messages for people or the collective, my private clients. And in a public sound bath, like oftentimes, like I will get a message for somebody and I had a message for you. And so I went up and I asked you, I think I was like, hey, I had a little download for you and I'm wondering, would you be willing? And you were like, oh my God, yes. And so I just remember like you getting really excited about hearing that message, and it definitely resonated with you at the time. So I think that's how you became like really excited about sound healing was after that, I think.
Yes. And then I went and did private sessions with you. And I think I was, at the time, I was going through my divorce. So my nervous system was jacked up and I needed the support to help me get through this difficult time in life. So I so appreciated it. And what sound healing was done, it is just a receiving energy. And for people who spend so much of their time doing, producing, giving, being in motion, it just gave me a beautiful time to allow. And sound is really healing. I'm a Taurus, so anything that soothes my senses is so powerful for me and so needed for me. And it was just really, really, after the sessions, it would be like I'd be brand new. It would carry it through for days. It helped with my
Yeah.
sleep, with everything. Yeah.
Yeah, sleep, stress management, a sense of like yeah, peacefulness, and that sort of idea of like just hitting pause and maybe and just getting a reset, like an all body, all systems reset, especially for that Taurus nature who like cuz it's all about the senses and the sound coming in and feeling it in your body and through, through your mind. And even today I'm going to be doing I think you'll find too and all of your listeners and viewers that like even through the digital world, like through live streams, which I do all the time and I love doing, you also get that same effect actually. Like it's very effective and you'll hear how the sound kind of moves through your body in this completely unique way. So that yeah, I feel like, I myself came to sound healing because Celeste knows this story, but I'll tell everyone else too. Because of just really high anxiety and depression. My dad fell mentally ill very severely, gravely, instantaneously. Like one day he was my father, and the next day he was very, 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 very sick. It was just really intense. And during that time, I just felt like I just couldn't ever catch up, which is what we're sort of talking about, right? That overwhelm, like feeling like, you're just stressed all the time and the stress sort of just keeps piling and everything's unpredictable and you just can't seem to catch a breath. And so when I first was introduced to sound, that was that moment where I was like, I felt actually, speaking of like, not being able to catch your breath, I just felt it felt the way I've described it as a full body exhale. Like my whole system exhaled. And I hadn't felt that way in so many years. I'd suffered. And I just was like, I don't know what this is, but I need to buy these bowls that were only sold in Florida and get them sent to me and just start. So it's thrilling to me to offer, any kind of help I can in our world right now, which is a very stressful, and especially the stars that we have been encountering, Mercury in retrograde in Scorpio at the last degrees of Scorpio. We've got a Grand Water Trine. We've got like just that this Scorpio season has been pretty intense. So I feel like this is a great segue to talk about what's been going on.
Yes. And we're recording this on the last day of Scorpio season as the sun moves from the last degree, 29 Scorpio. And the last degree of every sign is a degree of crisis and decay, where there's its invitation to release things. And so when you're listening to this, the sun will be in Sagittarius. So hopefully that energy is helping lift you up, that fire energy that's enthusiastic, optimistic. Yes, but despite the sun being in this sign, we have a grand trine in water in the sky where we have planets in each of the water signs. And trines are facilitating, they remove all restrictions. So there's ease and flow between the planets. And we talk about how they're lucky But, they also can be, you can just slide into whatever energy you want. So if you have an intention that you want to bring more joy into your life, it's available. And I'll talk a little bit about more of that. But did you have a comment, Melissa?
Well, I was just wondering when you say you can slide into these different modes, can you also like slide into, I don't know, like a more intensity or more emotion or emotional overwhelm,
Absolutely.
feeling stuck or, like the opposite, right? Because it's very flowing. There's this
Hmm.
flowing energy and it's pretty incredible because Grand Water Trines typically don't last 3 months, right? Like we've just had this crazy interaction with these different inner planets that have been kind of filling in the corner, different ones, right?
Hmm.
And so that's been really fascinating to see. And so like my question is, yeah, like can you slide into something maybe you don't want to be sliding into?
You can slide into joy, rage, depression, sadness, empathy overload. It's all available because the planets at this time are Jupiter is in the sign of Cancer and it's retrograde. So when a planet's retrograde, it's closest to Earth and its energy is intensified. Now, Jupiter is the planet of abundance, it's generous, but it also just makes everything bigger. It's a magnifier. So you can use it if you're depressed, it could be like it just gets worse, or you can use it to help pull you out. And then in the sign of Scorpio at this time, we have Mercury retrograde and Venus. And Venus does not like to be in Scorpio. It's the sign of her detriment, where relationships take on an additional level of intensity. Now,
Mm.
this can be a beautiful energy as well. Some people may have had some really serious discussions earlier in the week. On Monday, Mercury retrograde met Venus, where for whatever reason, some things rose to the surface that needed to be discussed. It may have to do with money, a Venus topic, debt, a Scorpio topic, jealousy, betrayal, all these things may have come up. The intensity, like depression, may have come up for discussion. And then Saturn and Neptune are in the sign of Pisces, and that is a mutable water sign, and Saturn crystallizes things and Neptune dissolves things. Saturn is a planet that's about structures, duties, obligations. It is the granddaddy kind of buzzkill energy,
Yeah,
uh,
the
uh,
disciplinarian,
disciplinarian.
right? About like these are your responsibilities. This is what you're meant to do. Like it's very like yeah, structured.
Yeah. So
Um
people may be feeling overwhelmed by the massive amounts of responsibilities that they have for their families, their loved ones, their partners, especially in the US, as we're moving. Tomorrow will be Thanksgiving, a day where a lot of people come together with
oh
their
my gosh.
families and friends.
And on
And
top of that, you got Mercury in Scorpio going retrograde. So I just feel like this is like a massive collision of energies, you know?
it is. And the moon at the beginning of the day moves from Aquarius, where people may be a little emotionally detached. The moon speaks to the mood of the people. And then and somebody may say something and it moves into Pisces,
Oh
and there
god.
can be tears, there can be connection, there can be a big hug. There's a lot of ways this can show up. There can be mashed potatoes flying across the room. Uncle Joe says that thing. He's got to say something about this thing. Political things come up and people can be in a clash, or they can find forgiveness and togetherness. So We can use this energy different ways, and I think the sound bath will give you the opportunity to set an intention. How do you want
Exactly.
this day to go? What do you want to welcome into your life on this day? If you're alone, like, what do you want to yeah, you can do it if you're alone or if you're gonna be together with a lot of people. Yeah, think about that, and you can listen to it again after Thanksgiving for a nervous system kind of reset and calming
Yes.
down.
Because I think, what's wonderful about the astrology is it gives you some context, like it gives you some higher wisdom to sort of consider like the tones, right? These are all, I mean, I consider them tones because I'm like a sound person. They're like tones and vibrations that are entering the field on this day. And so, how do I want, what is my intention, knowing that like there is a Mercury in retrograde in Scorpio, which is a rough situation, I think, on a day that already has a lot of intensity around family, right? Because, like family dynamics, these are the families you were born into. Some spiritual practices think you chose your family, before way back when your soul was still in school. It's like, these are the lessons I need now. So I'm choosing this family. I mean, it just depends. I've heard that before. And it's sometimes I've been okay with that. And sometimes I've not been okay with that. But like the idea that like, there's an intensity here of sometimes these sort of holidays are great, and sometimes there can be mashed potatoes flying against the wall. So knowing that it's a little bit charged, right? There's an edge here because that Mercury retrograde in Scorpio, like tell us about like how that might impact your Thanksgiving and
So Mercury is the planet of communication, commerce, and transportation. It also rules our thought processes. And when it's retrogrades are an optical illusion where it appears the planet is moving backward through the zodiac. It's not. But what I like to describe retrogrades as, no matter what the planet is, and Mercury, Jupiter, Saturn, and Neptune and
are
Uranus are all
all in
retrograde.
retrograde.
And
It's like a group retrograde.
it is a group retrograde, and it pulls the tape back so that we can see what is underneath. And what's underneath is often, think about like Velcro when you pull it back. There's like sticky stuff down there. And what will also happen, that things they normally keep in their head
Will
will
come out.
come out of their mouths. And
Mhm.
Mercury is slowing down to go direct. And Saturn's going direct on Thanksgiving Day. So there is an intensity of this Saturnian and Mercurial energy, and people can be saying things out of their mouths they normally wouldn't say. And with Scorpio, it can feel like someone has sliced you, like deboweled you. Yeah, just
Like,
taking your guts out, throwing them out,
oh
and like
God.
said the thing that, like, got into, like, the core of your inner
Right.
sensitivities.
And you're like, how do they not know me well enough to know that this would be so painful? Right. Like it's just this double whammy almost. It sounds like it just sort of rips you up. So the thing is, what can we do to energetically protect ourselves,
Yes.
right? To stay grounded, to realize that like this is an energy that's affecting people that may not know it's there, right? Like the person who's saying this thing that like really creates like pain. You know what I mean? Like pain inside of you. They may not realize that there's these other elements that are sort of affecting that, right?
Mm.
And so their filters are down. And, how do we stay centered? How do we stay with the intention of, I think for many of us, we're like, I want to survive Thanksgiving. I'm just trying to think of more of these collective things. I want to feel good
Connected.
about what? Sorry.
Connected.
Yeah, I want to feel connected. I want to feel a sense of ease, right? And a sense of maybe protection from all of these elements that are almost like, to me, I hate to say this, Celeste, but I feel like they're conspiring to like create like the worst possible dynamic. So, yeah, tell me about like the energetic protection, or sort of like, how can we move through this, staying connected to our higher set of values, our higher selves, our even more like in a way, that sort of higher spiritual sense, right?
Yeah.
There's like a deep sort of spiritual work involved when you're needing to kind of take a higher perspective,
Yes. And there is
right?
so much division in the country, and a lot of it is manufactured by our enemies outside, and some would say within,
Mm,
to keep people separated. And think
mm,
about, even if you cannot stand Aunt Joe or Uncle Joe and Aunt Sally, can you think about, we're all in this together, and the war is not between the things they're saying. It's like we're really in a class war where everything's being taken away from the people and shoved to the top. So keep that in mind. I would say you also may be hearing people telling you about hardships they're facing. They lost their job, they're going bankrupt, they're losing their homes. I've been wondering, how is Saturn stationing direct on Thanksgiving going to show up? It may just be a lot of travel delays as well, due to storms and things. So if you're in the airport, can
right.
you have patience? Treat these people, especially TSA agents who have gone without pay and now maybe they're starting to get it back, but they have been under unbelievable stress. Any government workers during the shutdown, it's over, but there's still lingering things for them. Can you treat them kindly? Slip them a gift card? What can you do
Oh,
to make
wow.
other people? Mars is
How
in.
much would that make their day, right? You're like, even just like a little gift card to a coffee or whatever. Yeah. I mean, that would be pretty incredible.
Yeah, to get a bunch of gift cards and hand them out, like, carefully so that the bosses don't see them and take them. But yeah, think about, or just a nice word, a smile,
Right, right. A
What can you do
compliment.
to make someone else's day more positive with Venus and Jupiter in a trine? The
Mm.
benefics that wanna bring to life, that wanna unite people, wanna aid things. Emotionally, this smile or a nice look on your face can emotionally make someone's day. So, just think
Yeah, and
about,
a
do you
little a
want.
little bit of empathy too, right? Like being, like, because I think that like many of us are in a struggle of some kind, right? Like we're all dealing with chaos. We're dealing with sadness. We're dealing with like grief. Collectively, we're dealing with like our truths, and kind of like there's collisions that are kind of happening. Like, okay, how do I maintain my truth despite like what's happening in the world or what's happening in my family or whatever it might be? So there's this like, yeah, this, need to, as you were saying, like make sure we remember like one of our most human things is like connection, right? And like staying connected to empathy and staying connected to patience, staying connected to, yeah, like a sense of, um, uh, trying to think of like yeah, just sort of like your higher values, and seeing, what you can, because I mean, I think there's a lot of practical things we can do, but it's sort of about like really staying in touch with your nervous system, I think, as we're going through these big celestial changes. Because I think there's also a lot of boons out there, with like these different planets, like Saturn, I think also can help us like let things go. Like can really like be it's like Saturn has the power of discernment of saying like this is what matters and this is what doesn't. Like kind of your example. What matters is having connection with, these different relationships. What doesn't matter is maybe what some of those people have to say. about certain things that, like, you know, it's sort of balancing those things. Like, what really matters? What is yours? What's your personal responsibility? What's not? And I think Saturn's like superpower, right? Is that discipline that we need. And Venus, I was thinking about Venus and Scorpio, and I feel like one of the positives is like she gets to learn kind of on her own, right? It's about like her own self empowerment, her own autonomy. I feel like Scorpio pushes autonomy, pushes like self empowerment and sort of, I don't know, like how to rely on yourself and not need a lot of validation. There's a solitariness to Scorpio. And so, and same with the Grand Water Trine too, right? There's all these boons. It sort of just depends on sort of like where our feet land.
Mhm. And can we move intentionally with this energy is what I am suggesting. And I think it's really important because as Saturn stations direct, Venus is moving to an opposition with Uranus. So that can be like sudden ruptures, excitement, sudden breaks. Like some people may be saying, I'm getting married, they may come in with an engagement ring. So this can be very joyful as well. It doesn't all have to be heavy. It depends on your particular situation, but there is easy access to big emotional swells and we know a lot of people are going through a hardship. This is a year of the nine, and nine is a number of endings, completion, and
Mhm.
lots of things are coming down as Saturn and Neptune move to be conjunct
Yep.
in February. February 20th, 2026, Saturn and Neptune are going to meet at 0 degrees of Aries.
Which
Saturn
is
is structures, Neptune dissolves them. And we've been seeing this since the spring as all sorts of things start coming down. Structures like the Department of Education is gone, like the USAID is gone. There are all these things like SNAP benefits were gone for a while, like all kinds of Obamacare subsidies are going away. There are all these things that people thought they could rely on that just got washed away unexpectedly, and it's destabilizing and it's overwhelming at times. But next year is a year of the one.
the
So
one.
everything's going away, but there's all these new starts coming in. There's all these people like Aries is the sign of the self. It's independent. So what are you doing to make your own dreams, Neptune,
Yes.
come true and crystallize
It's
Saturn?
in the initiator, Aries is the initiator. I think we've all been kind of waiting for February. Like, it's like, okay, come on, let's get to the February. But I think, as you were saying, like a lot of like, I think this end of the year, like if I were to put a theme on it, and then we probably have to get started with our sound bath soon. But if I were to put a theme on the end of the year, what I've been sort of intuiting is like integration. You know what I mean? Like there has been a lot in this 9 year, right? A lot of a lot. So I feel like the final season of the calendar year is going to help us to, yeah, integrate those new truths, integrate new understandings, integrate new parts of ourselves that maybe we hadn't met before, that we got to meet this year, good and bad, right? Like all of all of it are lessons along the way, right? To build ourselves up and lead our, hopefully our best lives from our highest selves. Like we're all learning along the way. But I think this end of the year is definitely about integration.
Yes, and I pulled cards from the Osho Zen Tarot deck, and they're both water cards to what we can be thinking about. And the first one on the top is the Nine of Water, which is like the Nine of Cups. It says laziness, and there's a man sitting back beside a pool with a drink. And it's like, can you take some time to let go of your troubles. Maybe the sound bath will be what it
Mhm.
is. Can you imagine yourself in your favorite place? The Nine of Cups in the tarot is the wish card. What is your wish? What dreams do you want to make come true over the next couple of years? This is something you can be thinking about with this bath and let it just take you on an escapade. And underneath it all is the healing card.
Ah,
And there's a card at the head, a hand at the head and at the stomach.
oh my
So it's
god.
like, yeah, I don't know if you can't see it very well, but it's a beautiful. So can you just use this for healing? Let me read what healing says. This is the King of Water. And when you are under the healing influence of the King of Water, we are no longer hiding ourselves from others. In this attitude of open and acceptance, we can be healed and help others to become whole as well. It's a time when deeply buried wounds of the past are coming to the surface, ready and available to be healed. The figure in this card is naked, vulnerable, open to the loving touch of existence.
Ooh. I
So it's
like the loving touch of existence because I feel like that's sound. That's the sound.
yes. So these are the cards I pulled. I think this is perfect for this sound bath. How can you let yourself be open for healing? Imagine yourself in your favorite place and
Mm.
process the energies and emotions and everything that you're going through so that you can come forward on your Thanksgiving or after it with your feeling good and your best self. Before we do it, Melissa, tell people how they can find you, anything you're offering right now.
Oh my gosh, thank you. Yeah. So, yeah, they can find me Inner Sounds Meditation. I'm, online, Instagram, Facebook. I have a YouTube channel. And I do have an on-demand sound bath library. So like when you're going through a rough patch, at any time, you can just like listen to a sound bath that's super high fidelity, high quality, been professionally mixed from our sound bath library and feel yourself, calming down. And we have 5-minute sound baths, 15-minute sound baths, and an hour-long sound bath. So you can kind of just move through your day and get that like nourishment, that nourishment of the nervous system, the settling really, really easily. So, and of course, I do live events as well here up here in Portland, and also like live streams where I'm streaming live my sound bath to you in your, pajamas at home, laying in bed.
Wonderful. And they can go to inner
Yeah.
sounds
Meditation.com. Yep.
innersoundsmeditation.com. And
Yeah.
I'm at astrology by celeste.com and I have the proper care and feeding of the moon on demand course that can help you understand the astrology of your natal moon. And that can also be something you may want to get to help you through this holiday season.
Yes. Oh, I also offer trainings. Yeah, of
Oh,
course.
yeah.
So I've been teaching others for many years now and teaching them about therapeutic sound baths and the inner sounds method. So there's that too. So many things.
So you can do it for yourself. That's why I love
Yes.
teaching astrology as well.
Yes, exactly. Giving people the tools to help them be human
Uh,
in a very difficult world right now. So, without further ado, I would love to offer everyone, about a half hour sound bath. And so I'll just do a little bit of a guide in, then I'll move through the crystal bowls that I've designed for my cosmic connection, and also the throat chakra, which is about speech, communication. Vishuddha is the color of bright blue, which is like the sky. That's the color of that chakra. So there's like a clarity of speech when I'm using that particular tone. That crystal bowl will be cleansing and working with that. So it's because we have Mercury in retrograde in Scorpio and this whole like Thanksgiving stuff. So we'll be working through cleansing our throat chakra. And then also, yeah, like I've got Saturn, Jupiter, Neptune, Venus, and Mercury as far as our gongs are going. All right. So I'll just go ahead and start to guide everyone in. So just beginning to create some comfort to your body. If you have an opportunity to lay down, please lay down. Just feel your body starting to relax. Reminding your nervous system that in this moment, there is nothing for you to do. There's nowhere for you to go. There's nowhere for you to be. This is just a moment of pure relaxation, pure rest, of no obligations or responsibilities. It's a moment for you to simply receive the sounds. And as we're traveling together, really thinking about, taking your mind to that escapade, to that favorite place of yours that feels really nourishing. What is a place in your mind that is very nourishing, where you feel at home, you feel happy and joyous, and just carrying yourself to that place. And as you're in this environment that feels very nourishing, feeling yourself setting an intention, right, of how you want to move through the holidays, knowing that there are these different challenges. And what is your intention of how you want to connect and relate to this holiday experience? If you're traveling, how do you want to relate to the people that are helping you to get where you need to go? If you're at home on your own, how do you want to relate to yourself? If you're getting together with friends, how do you want to relate to your friends or to your family? And really sensing that, what is that the highest kind of intention for yourself and how you respond? And just seeing if the sounds can strengthen this intention. Asking the sounds to strengthen your holiday intention. Begin to deepen your breath. And just inviting yourself to absorb all of the healing benefits. All of the wisdom, all of the calm, feeling that deep connection to your higher self. And inviting that wise energy to fill your entire system and feel it circulating and flowing in your physical body and your energy body. And feel it creating like a seal, like a protection. Keeping your inner self very safe, calm, connected, confident, free. And just feeling that wholeness of self being kind of shielded. And that sense of completeness in yourself. And as you feel ready, you'll gently begin to bring yourself back, knowing you can come back to this sound bath again and again. So feeling yourself returning back to the space you're in as Celeste and I close this circle journey that we've had today.
That was wonderful, Melissa. Oh my God. I really needed that. It's just beautiful.
Oh my gosh, wonderful. Yes. I'm really happy to collaborate. I did have a few visions from the gongs, especially. Like, we did spend a lot of time kind of clearing that throat chakra and connecting the throat to both your sense of safety, your foundation, the first chakra, but also your intuition and your higher connection, your spiritual connection. So we spent some time kind of working through that. And for those that want to listen to it again, as we would highly recommend, tomorrow, there's a part where there's this wah-wah effect, which, some other time I will go into. But when you hear that in the sound bath, just really, that's an indicator to let something go. So that kind of frequency is a cleansing frequency. So if, say, on Thanksgiving, some things happened and you're still feeling the effects the next day, on your nervous system, on your psyche, whatever it may be, or even the night of or during the day, whatever, you could use that frequency, that wah-wah effect, to really ask the sounds to help you process and just let that go. So you can, still save your weekend and enjoy yourself. For those that have it off, not all of us have the weekend off. And also, so the gongs, it was really interesting. There was definitely this sense of the scorpion's tail. like the whip of the scorpion's tail that like can come out of nowhere, right? This tail, and then it hits you, it bites you, and then you're hooked with the poison. And so that sense of like that tail is out there, and it might whip out into our lives. And to be sort of prepared, like you were saying, like some people might be saying things they wouldn't normally say. And that was that sense of like the tail, the sting of the tail. And I saw it whipping through Jupiter a few times. And so that's definitely like a reminder from the sounds from the sound psyche that like, yes, there could be some little attacks that happen and to be prepared. There was also like in the background, Saturn was kind of offering this heart rhythm, right? Which I feel like is very Saturn-like, right? It's in the background. It's just sitting there beating. It's reminding you of your way, of your journey. And it was sort of like the heart. So maybe sort of staying grounded, staying like Saturn is a very grounded kind of energy. So really staying grounded in yourself. And then finally, there was also when I played Neptune, because I was curious about Neptune and Saturn together, given that they're going to be going into Aries like we talked about. And I was like, let's just see what the sort of beginning energy of this is, right? As they're ending their time in Pisces. This is the last of it. And there was this sort of the vision I got, and I think this is just for this coming week, not forever, was like ice skating rink. So ice and cold and falling. So like falling on your butt when you're ice skating, and it really hurts because it's like very hard and cold and your butt hurts and your back hurts. And so there's that slipping. Remember we're talking about slipping?
Mm-hmm.
So there's a chance that like the gongs are indicating that, yeah, we could slip and kind of have like a bad fall, not physically in the world. We're talking about energetically, emotionally. So to perhaps be on the lookout, you're like, oops, I think I might have felt that slip. And I'm like, ooh, that kind of hurts. But then there was this sense of like, I think if we're feeling the scorpion kind of tail attack and we're feeling like we just slipped and fell on our butts, there also was a sense of when I played Neptune and Venus together, a sense of, coming back to your heart, coming back to what you stand for in yourself and in your life and who you want to be, how you want to move through the world. And also to just give yourself a lot of space. Like at the end, the gongs were just playing kind of together. And there was this really gentleness to it. So I think throughout Thanksgiving and Thanksgiving weekend, as we process our time in the United States, for those that live here and celebrate or can celebrate, have the time off. Like I said, not everyone does. That sense of giving yourself pauses, right? Like giving yourself little time outs throughout the experience that you're having. I think that's going to be hugely beneficial. Like literally going for little walks, like that closing sort of message was like, if we can give ourselves some time like we're doing right now by learning and by experiencing sound, like that is a wonderful thing to come back to again. Like giving yourself little micro timeouts will be very helpful. So this is what the gongs had to say. Anything you'd like to add, Celeste?
Yeah, that's beautiful. I think that's so helpful. And just a reminder to watch out for overindulging in substances like alcohol or drugs, that the effects can be magnified beyond what they usually are with this Grand Trine in water. And Jupiter rules overindulgence and governs that. And Venus, ooh, 1 sip is great, 10 is better. Just be mindful of that. That's a good way to prevent getting stung by that scorpion's tail when you have all your wits around you.
Yes, yes. I think that's definitely actually a really good point for this particular Thanksgiving, given the astrological conditions and what I just learned from the gongs. I would say, like, pace yourself. Because the more you're able to kind of stay with that higher intention, that whatever it is that you put forth in the sound bath, the like more able to stick with that, the easier it will be. And if you're a little, like you said, if you can, try and sort of manage your energies and how you're, what you're eating and what you're drinking will all help in this particular circumstance, especially. Anything else you'd like to add before we close, Celeste?
No, it's just such a pleasure. This was absolutely wonderful, Melissa. And everyone, you can find Melissa at innersoundsmeditation.com. I'm Celeste of astrologybyceleste.com, and we hope you have a beautiful holiday season and that you use this resource to help yourself whenever you need to get recentered and grounded and connected.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me, Celeste. I'm really excited to meet your community and get to know them better. I'm a little astrology nerd too, so it's just really exciting to just offer a hopefully a beautiful frequency to help us all through this little thing called life. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, and everyone, take good care. Thank you for listening to Celestial Insights. To learn more about my work, please visit my website, astrologybyceleste.com, where I offer personal readings, horary consultations, cosmic coaching, group events, and classes to help guide people to higher levels of fulfillment. You can also find me on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and Facebook at Astrology by Celeste. If you enjoyed Celestial Insights, please help others find the show. Follow, rate it 5 stars, or write a nice review. I would so appreciate it. I'm astrologer, coach, and intuitive Celeste Brooks, and I'll be back next week.